Welcome back, y'all. It's Sunday in South Carolina. Welcome to the Touchdowns Podcast. This is the instant reaction to what happened yesterday in Williams-Brice Stadium. The Gamecocks lose to Oklahoma 26-7. Real low point here in the season for Gamecock fans and the team. We'll get into the specifics of the game, but Thomas, I just want to kick it off by just getting your what are you thinking right now, man?
Yeah, so it was a painful watch, terrible day at the office. Shula has lost me, and for all of you that have been saying we need to get rid of him all season, and even initially we're upset with the hire in the off season. I apologize. Y'all were right. I typically try to defend the play caller in certain situations because I think a good call versus a bad call a lot of times is reactionary and based on the outcome. People hate running out of shotgun at the goal line and in short yardage situations, but we were super effective doing that under Spurrier with Lattimore. So I don't really think that it matters if you're running out of shotgun, running out of I formation, running the triple option. The important thing is being effective. And the problem is we were not and we are not. And I just kind of, the first possession of the third quarter, we received the second half kick. It was 3rd and 1, and we ran Faison up the middle and got stuffed, 3 and out, had to punt. And that was after we had actually, for the first time this season, done a really good job of putting ourselves in 3rd and manageable or 4th and manageable. And Oklahoma's defense was stuffing us. So, yeah, on the one hand, you want to be able to get a push and pick up a yard running the football on 3rd and 1. But if they have already stopped you 4 or 5 or 6 times, you got to throw another wrinkle in. And I was just that play specifically, I audibly shouted out, you got to try something else. So just incredibly frustrated with that. And then the fake punt was so bad. I mean, it was 4th and 2, midfield area, and it was so obvious that it was coming that a kid at the bar sitting in front of me called it. Like, you could just feel that it was coming, and like that's not what fake field goals or fake punts are supposed to be about. You need an element of surprise for those to be effective. Oklahoma was sitting on it. Everyone knew it was coming. If you want to go for it, that's fine. But just fucking line up in a normal formation. And I know that we had been unable to convert the 3rd and shorts and 4th and shorts, but I just thought that was a fucking pussy, gimmicky, it was obvious that we were desperate, outcoached. It was just terrible.
I was going to say that play was straight up.
That was
from
almost
a place
like
of
a surrender for me. And then, and then later in the game, I think we punted on 4th and less than 5, like midway or to the end of the third quarter. But then we went for it on 4th and 38. It's just like, dude, I mean, I don't know. we're going to kind of touch on this throughout this episode because, in addition to us, LSU lost to Vandy, Auburn lost to Missouri, Florida State lost to Stanford. So an already insane coaching carousel could potentially get a lot crazier. I am still not on board with we need to pay a buyout and fire Beamer this year. I don't think that's the move. But after yesterday, I am finding it much more palatable if he were to get hired away by Virginia Tech or whoever and they pay the buyout and we have a full budget to throw our hat in the ring and try and get somebody. Now, for everybody that wants to fire Beamer right now and just go ahead and do that, you got to realize that we're probably 6, 7, 8, eighth best job available.
6-7.
Do not. I do not condone that. That shit is so lame. But yeah, like we're not going to get our first choice, but I don't think that's a bad thing either. We're going to have to find a diamond in the rough, anyways. I don't know how on the radar Kurt Signetti was when Indiana hired him, and he's going to be the kind of the golden example of exactly what any of these smaller schools want to find. But yeah, I'm as hopeful and optimistic as I always am. I'm about as deflated as I have been in a very long time. We are not a good team. And it is only going to get tougher for the next 3 weeks. We're obviously going to beat Coastal Carolina, but we are staring down the barrel of having to play Clemson to go 5-7 or 4-8. And I don't even really care about going to a bowl. Like, who cares about going to whatever the bowl is called in Birmingham? I do desperately want to beat Clemson. That still matters to me. That is really the only thing that I care about for the rest of this season. And, they lost to SMU yesterday, which I enjoyed. That made me take a step back from the ledge. But
the thing is, we're back to
even in their loss, they are still now showing more signs of life than we have. Up until this point in the season, I have always remained confident that they suck more than us and we can win that game. And now I'm even being able to question if we can beat them.
Bro, that game's going to be like it's going to be like Beamer's first year in Columbia when we lost 30-0, or even the game 2 years ago in Columbia where they scored a defensive touchdown on the first play and then they kicked 3 field goals and beat us. Like, I don't see any way, despite the fact that they haven't played great, I don't see any way this offensive line blocks Peter Woods and TJ Parker and Capehart and the other guys that they have on their defensive line. I mean, I'm with you, like, going back to the Oklahoma game. I mean, 3 for 15 on third down, and I think the 3 that we converted were the insane Lenor run, the insane Oscar Attaway conversion on that drive in the fourth quarter that didn't even fucking matter. We didn't convert a third down that mattered the entire game. And Oklahoma, they finished 8 for 16 for third down, but all the third downs that mattered, for the most part, in the first half and the third quarter, they converted like 9 of their first 10 or whatever. And the defense from the jump, we finally get a holding call, and we have them in 2nd and 20 on the first possession, and they pop a 18-yard draw play which you said on that play you saw a hold, but at the end of the day, like the chances were there from the jump to maybe seize momentum, get a stop on the first possession of the game. All right, they go down and score. That's bad on the defense, but what do you know? Our offense actually answers. The first play of the game, we do a little pop pass to Nick Harbor. I'm like, oh shit, what was that, Shula? You didn't run it up the middle for 1 yard? You tried something else? Great. We're moving the ball. We get to 4th and 1. Really creative call, I think, again, with the fullback dive, but Rasul was the fullback. We pop a big one. Honestly, the hole wasn't that big. He kind of weaseled his way into that hole, which was great running by him and great vision, and he popped off the big one to get us in position to score. And then what the fuck do? We go back to just up the middle, up the middle, up the middle, and I'm sure on 3rd down, Beamer was telling Mike Shula, hey, guess what, buddy? We're going for it. So it's okay to run here. Why the fuck not just score on 3rd down? Like, why not call a play to score on 3rd down? Instead of, oh, we're going for it, so you're good to run a shitty play up the middle again. Like, and I don't know that was the conversation, but I have a feeling it was, because that's the type of shit that we do under Beamer. He tells his coordinators, all right, man, we're going for this. So they draw up the shittiest play ever on 3rd down instead of just trying to convert on 3rd down. Like, it blows my mind why we do that. And the other red zone possession where somehow Lenor found Nick, and it was weird and ugly, but we got it done. But I mean, just tough. And then we come out of the half, and we get the ball after the debacle at the end of the half with Brady Hunt. We don't get a field goal there. Dumb as hell. But it's like, okay, it's 14-7. We're still in the game. We're getting the ball. What do we come out and do? Just 3 and out. Rasul Faison runs for 2 yards. We did hit Mazio on a screen for 7. That was nice. But then 3rd and 1, we get stuffed. Like, just run a QB sneak to get the yard. I bitch and moan about short yardage plays all the time, and even if I was quarterback, we should be running a QB sneak to gain 1 yard. We consistently have shown that, especially in the shotgun, our offensive line is not good. Yesterday's offensive line was like the 3 third-string guys and 2 second-string guys. Like, we didn't have a starter on the field, and then the guys that actually started, they were also getting hurt. So the offensive line is clearly outmatched. And you're still trying to out-physical a team that's a top 5 defense with a great front 7, with a great defensive coach, and you're saying I trust my guys to put a hat on a hat and win when it consistently was proven that you can't? Like, that's what blows my mind about Shula and Beamer and their philosophy on offense. It's like, it would be one thing if we've shown any signs of being able to put a hat on a hat and win, but we can't. So, like, this philosophy of, like, hey, we're good, Beamer talked about, Kentucky game, like, that's our identity. Like, we're going to, run it. We're going to run it on you even when you know it. And it's like, we did against Kentucky, but there was absolutely no pressure in that game to succeed on offense. Like, we can't even win man on man against fucking South Carolina State, like, this whole year. And we're at this point, we're playing with bodies that are, some of these names I didn't even recognize as they were getting blown up in the, as an offensive tackle was getting walked into the backfield to stuff our running back. And I'm looking at the name on the back of the jersey, and I don't even recognize him because it's probably a walk-on that is on the scout team. And that's the bodies we have right now. So to think that we could go and just win man for man is asinine. Like, I don't know what else, like, and that's what it seemed like we were trying to do And we just we didn't have any creativity again. Like, we said it after the Virginia Tech game. The shit is just bland. Like, and you can play that style of football when you have the dudes, and we do not have the dudes. So there has to be a change in philosophy. And I don't know if that change is firing Shula, because if we fire Shula right now, someone on the staff has to call plays. We can't bring in an outside guy to call plays mid-season. Someone on the staff is going to have to call plays, and that play caller, I'm blaming Shula. I think he's atrocious, but I'm also putting some blame on Beamer, because I think what Beamer does is he's in the ear of the play caller, and sometimes I think he determines some of these play calls. Like, I don't always think it's just Shula wants to run it. I think Beamer is stubborn, and he thinks, we had a great week in practice. I trust these kids, blah, blah, blah. And that's fine, but it doesn't work. And he gets so stubborn, especially in games, that he keeps trying and failing. And it's almost just like, dude, you are the coach. You can see that we're getting beat. Fucking try something else. Like,
so again, you have to have players, you have to have execution. And I have witnessed lots of other teams throughout my entire life get more out of less. We see creative stuff going on all the time. I watch lots of games. I see lots of cool stuff. But for the most part, most teams are all running the same shit. Like everyone every team in the country probably has the same 15 core plays. I think one thing that makes a good play caller or a great play caller or a special OC is feel. Like, the thing that people used to say about Spurrier that made him great was he had an ability to dial stuff up at the right time. And with Shula, there seems to be no feel, no instinct. It's robotic. And I don't know if that is because Beamer is handcuffing him like you are theorizing, or that's just who he is. But for example, we took that deep shot to Jacobs, and the DB essentially tackled him just to save the big play, and we drew a PI. Why don't we take more? Why didn't we take another vertical shot after that? Like, why weren't we trying to challenge them in other ways? And for the rest of the season moving forward, let's just throw 50-50 balls. Like, we're not going to turn into this methodical, well-polished offense that's going to go down the field on people. And yeah, if we don't hit these 50-50 balls, we're going to stall and go 3 and out and punt. But who gives a shit? I mean, we scored 7 points yesterday. Like, we are not good. And one of the things that makes me more upset than anything else is especially when a game is starting to slip away or get out of hand, is when we start playing to not lose or not lose as bad. I mean, just fucking try shit. Who cares if that puts us in a bad position and they get an easy touchdown and we lose by 30 instead of 20? Like, just try to win the game. I mean, throw some fucking bombs to Nick or whoever and make them cover us. And maybe we draw a flag or maybe it hits. But there's no feel. And while I'm kind of on this little rant, Roy's question, one of our listener questions was how much blame can we attribute to Sellers at this point? I know that he has probably left some plays on the table this year, but I'm putting little to no blame on him, and I really just I feel for him. You could see visible signs of frustration from him yesterday. I think as bad as our offense looks, it would be unfathomable. Like if we had a statue back there, how many more sacks we would have taken this year, and just how little we would be able to do at all. As bad as the O-line clearly is, and as bad as the offense looks, I don't think people can imagine how much worse the O-line would feel and look if we didn't have Lenoris back there. You know, he's gonna get drafted still and go on to the league and do great things, and I will be pulling for him to have a very successful career. But yeah, I don't attribute very much blame to him at all. Like there's really nothing, and I know that I've gotten on him, and I think that people get on him for taking too many sacks or not throwing it away. But I think a lot of times that people want him to just throw it to anybody. There's no one open. Like people are getting back there so fast. Like it's unbelievable how little resistance we were given sometimes. Like people are in the backfield immediately. And when people are back there that fast, no one's open. The routes aren't developed. The receivers haven't even turned their heads around. So there's really nothing he can do. So it's just bad. I don't know what I expect or want out of the next 3 weeks. Bama's a really good team. Ole Miss is I think the next 3 teams that we play are literally the best 3 teams in the SEC right now. So it's just
probably throw Georgia in there, but yeah,
it is any given Saturday, and crazier things have happened. But I mean, it just sucks. But yeah, I put very little blame on Lenoris.
To the question from Roy on blame for Lenoris, I do think a lot of people saw some of the stuff he did yesterday when he's out of the pocket and he's running out of bounds for a 6-yard loss instead of throwing it away. And those are bad plays, no doubt. But I think, to your point, he's just pressing. He's trying to create something out of nothing on every play. And we've talked about how, like, we need this man to make Superman plays to win. What's fucked up is he's making Superman plays just to get a yard or to just, like, save us from a negative play. Like, his Superman plays aren't resulting in first downs and touchdowns for the offense. They're resulting in keeping us out of fucking 3rd and 30, which is, again, very frustrating. It's hard to blame anyone playing behind this O-line with this offensive philosophy. Like, I don't think Tom Brady would be successful in this offense. Like, and so I don't really blame Lenoris either, but I do think some of these things that, I mean, throwing it away, that's pretty simple. That's like basic football 101, and I know you're trying to create something from nothing, but like just throw the ball out of bounds. Like, you're right there on the sideline, just throw it out of bounds. Like, that's basic stuff. That the one positive from yesterday was we didn't commit any penalties really that were backbreaking. Like, the team played relatively clean, especially the offensive line, pre-snap and post-snap. We didn't block anyone, so it's hard to get a holding call when you can't even get your hands on the motherfucker because he's in the backfield right after you snap the ball. But we didn't have any pre-snap penalties, and to your point earlier, this was probably the best job of, like, getting in 3rd and manageables and having a little bit of success on 1st and 2nd, and then we didn't convert 3rd down the whole fucking game. Like, so frustrating. And I think, yeah, some of the negative plays that Lenore's had kind of set us behind the chains as opposed to the offensive line. So you do have to put a little bit of blame on Lenoris in that respect, but it's hard to play behind this offensive line. And so I don't put a ton of blame on Lenoris, but obviously there's things he could clean up, but not that the things I don't think in the grand scheme of things it would have made a difference if he threw those balls out of bounds instead of taking five or, the stat sheet looks better. The defense only gives up 3 sacks instead of 5, but, or excuse me, the offensive line only gives up 3 sacks instead of 5. But yeah, it's, so yeah, it's depressing. We're back to, let's jump to Karan's question, because this is kind of the point I was going to make. And what I was going to say was we're kind of back to the old times when we would go into a season and it was like, fuck what everything else happens, just beat Clemson. And we're at that point now. Like, we're at the point where I think beating Clemson might be the only thing that saves Shane Beamer's job. Beating Clemson might be the only thing that gives this fan base any ounce of joy in this season. And so we're back to that. So to Karan's question, what's considered a successful season? Beating Clemson. Like, and that's not really a successful season, but at this point, we're not beating Alabama, Ole Miss, or A&M. No fucking way. I mean, any given Saturday, we might pull an upset, but like, there's nothing, absolutely nothing a sane man has seen to think that we will beat any of those 3 teams, that we will even compete with any of those 3 teams. Like, those all might be double-digit blowouts in those 3 games. And you got Coastal, who, again, they're no scrub. It would really be bad if we lost that game, but I'm not chalking that one up as a win. So hopefully we win that one, and then you just come down to your 4-7. So everything rides on the Clemson game. Just beat them, and it at least gives the fans, or at least for me, I always want to beat Clemson, and I know you do too, Thomas, and that's, for us, always the most important game on the schedule. And so that could be the success is beat your rival and try and you have to, if you're Beamer, all the people, I'm going on a little rant here, but like all the people that have been calling for his head and I've been defending him, I no longer can defend him. I'm not saying I'm of the opinion we should fire him this year, but the people that want to fire him are absolutely justified. I think he very well could get fired if he doesn't beat Clemson, but that could be his saving grace and beat our rival at the end of the year. So at least we have that going into the offseason. Try and get some dudes in the portal. Try and hold the program together and see if you can have success in year 6. And then, but he's going to be, in year 6, it's going to be, everything's going to be meticulously watched. And he could very well, get fired in year 6 if things go south. But that's kind of where I am on a successful season. You just have to your point, I don't give a fuck about playing in the Birmingham Bowl. Like, and I don't even think we're going to make a bowl. So you kind of put all your eggs in the Clemson basket and go beat your rival. And at this point, that's all we have for this year.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just going to echo that. For me, at this point, where we sit today, a successful season would be beating Clemson. I don't think we can win any of the next 3 games, but the last time I was this dejected, the last time I truly believed we had no chance to win a game was 2019 Georgia, and we won that game. That was the last time I can remember going into a game thinking I cannot even in my brain come up with a way that we could win this game. And we won it. And, Kentucky went to overtime with Texas last night. So it really is a week-to-week thing. But like we've both said, if we win one of the next 3 games and we go 6-6 and we make a bowl game, I don't care about that bowl game. It's not going to do going to a bowl game at 6-6 does nothing for me in terms of being able to navigate the off season. Most of our best players will probably not play in that game. I mean, say what you want about having the extra practices for the young guys or whatever. I don't know if I even believe that matters anymore. So much of what will make our team good or bad next year will be who we add in the portal. So, yeah, if we can go 6-6 and make a bowl and get some of the good young talent some extra practice reps, great. But if we do lose the next 3 games and we go 5-7 and do not play in a bowl game, I'm going to feel relatively the same as if we go 6-6. Like, all I care about is beating Clemson. And what that means for Beamer, I do think that if we beat Clemson and we finish 5-7, the people that want to fire him today will still want to fire him. I don't think he will get fired if we do finish 5-7, but then he will be kind of he'll be in a different category. He'll kind of be in the spot that Billy Napier's been in for the last 3 years, where if you can win enough, great, and if he does turn it all the way around in year 6 or year 7, then he can get back off the hot seat. But he has, with the way that this season has gone, he has gotten himself in a position where now you have to prove it. You've had enough time, but you got to win now, and only winning will make things better again.
Yeah, I mean, I think based on preseason expectations, this might be the worst season in Gamecock football history.
I disagree.
Bro, based on preseason expectations,
yeah,
I mean, we were all right. We were a lot. I remember we were alive for the 21 game losing streak where, 98 we won our first game, then we lost our next 10, and then in 99 we went 0-11. I remember you and me were at the game in 2000 when we played New Mexico, and we won, and we rushed the field, tore the goalpost down, and I didn't understand why I was 7, you were 8 years old, and I didn't understand why they were tearing the goalpost down for a win against New Mexico. But it was like, if you were a junior at Carolina, you hadn't seen a winning football game since the first game of your freshman year, which is wild. Which is wild.
That's what
which
I'm
is
saying,
pretty.
dude.
Those are. I mean, that is bad. But based on what we thought we were going to be this year, this is bad. This is. I mean, 2015, my 21st birthday, when we lost to the Citadel, was bad, and that's how I felt yesterday.
That is how thin the margin is. That's how quickly it can go left. That's how competitive college football has become. And I just want to say, 2015 Citadel was significantly worse than yesterday. That was terrible. That was so embarrassing. People still fucking talk shit to me about that. It bothers me to this day. Losing to a ranked Oklahoma team is not embarrassing. It's not what we wanted to happen. The game was ugly, but it's not an unacceptable loss in the way that the Citadel was.
But
And
the
this,
way,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
I'm just saying the way this season was supposed to play out.
Given the framing of what we thought this season could be, this season has been an utter disaster. It everything that we were projecting that could go in our favor has gone in the complete opposite direction. So yes, it has been as bad as it could possibly be. I mean, I guess we technically could have lost to Kentucky and or Virginia Tech as well. But yes, this season is a disaster. But I'm old enough to remember how bad we used to get our ass kicked. Like, it's not the same. Like, I know that the expectations were lower back then, but dude, you remember Darren McFadden and fucking Felix Jones piecing us up for 500 yards? Like, that was still worse than what we were watching this year.
I mean,
We used to get our ass kicked. We're not.
We got our ass kicked yesterday. I mean, the score didn't say.
But dude, we used to get the fucking shit beat out of us.
I mean, dude, but that's what I'm saying. This is the feeling I have. Like when I was freezing my fucking balls off in Clemson in the upper deck while we got 56-7. Like the OG Clemson loss. You know,
feel differently about yesterday than I felt about that. Those losses are worse than what we are experiencing this season. But you have recency bias. We used to
maybe recency bias, and I'm saying it's the same way I felt in those games when I'm watching that game unfold yesterday. It was just.
I don't feel good about it, but it does feel different than that. We feel like we're bad. We're a bad team, but we have good players.
That's what I'm saying. We're not supposed to be bad this year. We were supposed to be
bad.
We were supposed to be bad when we lost to Clemson 56-7. Yeah, were we supposed to lose to them 56-7? No. But, like, we sucked. I knew we weren't going to win that game, and it was embarrassing. And Clemson fans got to, Jamarcus King getting carried by Mike Williams, and they got to replay that highlight over and over again. And, like, it was bad. But going into the game, I didn't have a fucking expectation that we were going to win or even get close.
I did think we could win that game.
Yeah,
I think we can win every game.
But that's what I'm saying. It was justified. The whole fan base thought this year was the year to get over the hump, and that's why it hurts more than when we were just sucking ass with Muschamp. And Clemson was winning national titles, so of course they're going to beat us 56-7 or blow us out. They blew us out every game against Muschamp. But I never, after the 2014 game, I never went into a Clemson game after that. I thought we were going to win that game. Then that started the downfall. But 2015 through the whole, the last year of Spurrier / when Elliott was interim, and then all of Muschamp's whole tenure, I never went into a Clemson game thinking we were going to win. Never. Not once. They were just that much better than us. And so, these losses that we're suffering this year, and this was kind of, it is maybe recency bias because it just happened yesterday, but the way we lost, it's just pathetic, man. We can't block anyone. We had 200 yards of offense, 60 of which were Cutter Woods in garbage time. We couldn't convert a third down the whole entire game that mattered. Our defense couldn't get off the field on third down. We did not, Oklahoma they eclipsed their season total in rushing yards halfway through the second quarter. We did nothing good other than Mason Love had a couple good punts and Bakari had a couple good returns. That is the only reason we were even sniffing competitiveness in that game yesterday. They just beat, the score was 26-7, but they beat the hell out of us. They dominated us on both sides of the ball, total domination. It's demoralizing. It's literally demoralizing. Like, that's why I think that's why it hurts. And I think it's just, and you're right, maybe it is recency bias, but like, dude.
I'm not happy about what happened. I'm just saying I can remember us being significantly worse than we are this year. And, we're going to finish
I mean,
4-8 or 5-7. But I fucking grew up in the 90s. We were very, very bad in the 90s and early 2000s. Regardless of our record back then, and college football was less competitive back then, every single team is better now. Everyone is better. Just college football talent level and the investment and everything is harder and better and more competitive. And we're a bad team. But this team that we have this year would smoke every Gamecock team from the 90s and most of the
I don't think so.
Really?
Really? Yeah. Bro, we're like last in the country in like every major offensive category.
Okay, we would smoke the Gamecocks teams from the 90s.
No, this offensive line couldn't block me.
Yes, they could.
No, they couldn't.
Yes, they could. They could block our teams from the 90s.
Dude, I mean, it's a hypothetical that we'll never know the answer to, but that's how bad this offense is. Like, this is a historically bad offense. Historically. Like, I would love to take a gander and, maybe that team that went 0-11, today, I bet they could fucking convert a third down.
Dude, you don't think that you think that our 90s defenses could stop Lenoris?
Yeah.
No.
He can't, dude, there's no blocking. Like, the man, like I said, he's making Superman plays just to take a 5-yard loss. Well, this team sucks. This offense sucks. Like, it just is plain trash. Like,
all right, we're bad. I get it. We're bad. I've admitted we're bad. Let's move on to either the DB Blitz recap or coaching carousel. I think that we have covered that we are bad and we are unhappy about this season.
Yeah. Well, the coaching carousel is interesting because we might be a part of that. Again, all the people who want Beamer's head, I don't have. I used to, as recently as last week, I was at least had some Florida team meeting called for 2 p.m. Interesting. Okay, they won yesterday though, but yeah, there was all the shit about like Lane and kind of making a backdoor deal. The coaching carousel will be interesting. Again, yeah, everyone who wants Beamer gone, I can't defend him at this point, but we'll see. Like I said, I think winning the Clemson game can buy him one more year. I think if Beamer goes to Virginia Tech, that's a P-word move, bitch made. If he leaves to go to Virginia Tech, I mean, I think one of the big reasons that he was embraced by this fan base is that he said this is his dream job. This is where he wants to be. This is where he wants to build a legacy. And
I think it would be pretty damaging for his brand if he accepted the Virginia Tech.
Yeah, it would. I think, like I said, it would be a P-word move.
Like a jackass.
Yeah, it would be. It would be
terrible.
I think a terrible move
and everything, but the entire recruiting platform that he has built upon at South Carolina would look invalidated if he left.
Yeah.
But if that's what he chooses to do, that's fine. I would get behind the next guy. I
Well,
actually am committed to
as we,
South Carolina. I actually am, in it for the long haul.
yeah. Well, and that's the
Unfortunately.
thing. I just started yesterday. I was just like, holy shit! Like, I can't defend this guy anymore. Just like the same way you and I defended Muschamp until we couldn't. I'm getting to that point, and I just think he needs to beat Clemson, and hopefully he can figure it out next year. And like, he's just going to be on the hot seat next year, no matter what. If he's our coach, and I think he's a P word if he goes to Virginia Tech. But that's gonna be a thing that's swirls, and there's some report out. I can't recall the publication, but there's already a report that he's checked out as our coach, and he's negotiating with Virginia Tech. So be interesting to see what happens, especially if Bama kicks our ass next week, which is looking likely, and probably going to get a lot of boo birds and Willie B. Probably going to get a lot of people pissed off and upset, and then we're going to go into a bye week, and it can happen during a bye week.
The bye's in between Ole Miss and A&M. We have Bama.
Oh, we got Bama, then Ole Miss, then
Bama,
bye.
Ole Miss,
Okay.
bye, A&M.
Okay. So, still, but like, so we're going to lose 2 games before the bye instead of 1. But yeah, the coaching carousel is interesting. There's going to be a lot of job openings. So again, do we want to be hunting in that type of market? That's the conversation. There's going to be a lot of options and limited,
Well, it's like in
limited
my opinion,
choices. So
in my opinion,
do we want to go another year and then
if when we're talking coaching carousel, Penn State is open. Arkansas is open. Florida is probably opening this week. Auburn is probably going to open. In my opinion, our search doesn't start until Penn State, Florida, and Auburn are filled. And then, if Penn State hires Brian Kelly, then LSU becomes top dog in the search. And if LSU hires an active coach, that job then becomes, top dog in the search. So, like, for the people that want to fire him, that's fine. But, like, I don't even know who we would want. I want a play caller. I don't care if it's offensive or defensive, but if we go away from Beamer, I want our next coach to be calling plays on at least one side of the ball. Obviously, you need someone who can recruit. I don't really care if we get an offensive guy or a defensive guy. I know that after all of the struggles we have had on offense post Spurrier, I'm sure the fan base would prefer an offensive guy. But like I said a couple episodes ago, I've experienced a good offense with a bad defense in 2014, and it's just as frustrating. Just being completely unable to stop people is just as demoralizing as being completely unable to score. I just want a fucking coach that can win more games than we lose and give us a chance to compete with good teams. I don't care if we do that the Lane Kiffin way or the fucking Brent Venables way or the Eli Drinkowitz way. That's another interesting name. Like, do you think that Missouri extends and locks him down? You texted Ross and I yesterday, Eli Drinkowitz is doing everything at Missouri that we hired Beamer to do here. And in a lot of ways, he is. Yeah, I mean, I think Drink is a better coach than Beamer. I think Missouri has more resources than us right now, but, they're having the year that we want to have. And he finds a way to scheme stuff up. They did a great job in the portal this year. They found a QB They have a great running back. They've had a good defense even dating back to Barry Odom, but Missouri's just consistently good. And but yeah, I don't care if we run a pro style, a fucking spread, a triple option, an air raid. Speaking of the triple option, Vandy beat LSU. I'm happy for Clark Lee. They have a
It'll be
guy that
interesting
actually
to see. It'll be interesting to see if he gets poached because he's a
I
Vandy
don't
guy.
think he leaves. Why would he
Yeah.
leave? That's his alma
Yeah.
mater. They're winning. I
Yeah.
think he's about to get more investment and more money. Vanderbilt has money. They just haven't ever invested in football. And now they're about to. Why wouldn't they invest? Like, they're winning. So, yeah, I mean, if Beamer's not our guy, hopefully we find our guy eventually. Fucking hire me. Let me do it. I can do it. I have ideas. But yeah, I just want to fucking win, dude. And to Gamecock fans out there, if you're old, it's looking bleak. If you're my age, if you're in your 30s, someone needs to invent something, and someone needs to make $1 billion, and we have to give it to Carolina. We're gonna have to buy a national championship, and that is my plan before I die. I don't know if I'm gonna have kids. My legacy is going to be a South Carolina national championship. Darla Moore, please become a football. See, that's the thing. She's not, and we've kind of burned that bridge. So we need more rich alumni. And all of these nice northern students that I really do appreciate. I have some nice northern regulars, but they don't care about college football. So us lifelong diehard Gamecock fans, listeners and friends of the podcast, you need to start making some investments and saving some money so we can load up and go win a national championship before we all die. Let's recap the DB Blitz.
Yeah. To that point about investment, though, people don't want to put their money in and get these type of results, obviously. So it's going to be hard,
Well, but that's what I'm saying. Like,
chicken before the egg. We're going to have to get some results before we see the real investment. In my opinion.
But here's what I'm saying, though. Yeah, the people that have already been putting money up and we suck, that is frustrating. But we're still not even spending enough money. One of the reasons that Missouri is good is because they spend more money than us. A lot of the reasons that the teams that are better than us is because they spend more money than us. And I don't know what to tell you, but
I mean, we talked about it last episode. We got to get – that's why you're the head coach of the University of South Carolina. You got to get what you can with what you got. You got to elevate. And that's the job of the coach in today's college football. It's to – we talked about it, and we're kind of beating a dead horse. And I know you're preaching for investment, but it's never going to be like – they're never going to be able to figure it out to where it's a salary cap. Like, and maybe they will, and then maybe they'll be able to police this stuff, and
they won't.
There won't be. I mean, but ultimately,
the cap is the floor. Whatever the rev share is, that's going to be the starting point. And so what is it, 20.5 million, and you got to break that up between sports, and football is going to get 16 or 17. So yeah, now for Power 4 football, The lowest that you will spend is $17 million. The competitive teams are going to put 20 to 25 million on top of that. And that just is what it is. And talk about spending money and not getting results. That's LSU. I mean, we can't complain.
But that's the problem, though. Again, we're gonna go on a tangent here, but that is my issue with today. I hate this shit. I hate this era of college football where it's
not
expected
this era,
of the fan to be a fan and to fucking pay for the school to win.
Era. It's
I know,
yeah. Back in the
people have been paying players forever.
It has always been. I take great relief in the knowledge that, because when I was a kid, I was like, why aren't we good? Why can we never beat these teams that always beat us? And I just thought, oh, we haven't had our Bear Bryant yet. We haven't had our Joe Pa. We haven't had Woody Hayes. We haven't had our coach. And it is that you need a legendary coach to elevate you, but it's money. It is money. All these teams that have been good forever have always spent more money than us, and they continue to. And it doesn't guarantee you shit. You can spend $100 million and have a coach that doesn't know what to do with it and still lose. But I promise you, you're not going to win a national championship on a budget. We are not. South Carolina is not going to beat Georgia spending half as much money that they do. And if we spend exactly as much as they do, we still might lose because Kirby's a really good coach. But the people that think that we're going to spend this much when the 10 teams in the SEC that we have to beat are spending this much are delusional. We have to spend this much just to have a chance, and then we still might lose. But expecting to win when we're here and Missouri and Vanderbilt and Georgia and Texas A&M and Florida and Auburn and Bama and Tennessee are here. I know, yeah, we're here. And we're spending this much money.
State of affairs. It
would be great. It would be great if we could have a coach that could spend this much and get us this close, but it takes all of it. So maybe Beamer is not the guy, but I know this much. Even when we find the guy, we have to be ready to spend more money. So here's what I am doing, Gamecock Nation. I run a little bar of 5 points. And whenever I make a little bit of money, I put some away. And one day, I hope that when coach of South Carolina needs the next 5-star from Florence, I'm someone that he can call to fucking give him some bullshit NIL deal to get him here. And what I'm saying is, if you want to win a national championship as a South Carolina fan, you need to be doing that too. Because no matter who it is, whether it's Beamer or the next guy or the next coach that we hire after we fire the next guy, all of the guys will need money to win college football. I went 3-2 this week in the DB Blitz. Beck went 2-3. I'm still the king. The gap widens. We've been going an hour, and if you have anything else to say, Beck, I'll give you the floor. But I gotta use the bathroom.
No, that's a wrap. Appreciate everyone listening to our rants. Appreciate listener questions from Roy and Karan. Tough, dark times for Gamecock Nation, and we'll just see what happens. We'll see y'all on Wednesday to preview Bama.
That's going to be
as always.
That'll be super fun.
As always, go Cox.
Go Cox.